Hi there, and welcome to the Dump Truck Safety and Operations Simulation. I'll be your guide today as we look at ways to keep workers safe when operating heavy machinery. Safety starts by ensuring operators are fully trained and following all safety procedures. To get started, click Start Here button. Let's start by breaking down a dump truck into 4 sections. What is a dump truck, and why are they important? Next, we'll also go over safety concerns and tips. We'll also review a walk-around inspection and finally go over the basic controls for operation. So, what is a dump truck? A dump truck is a specialized vehicle that transports materials such as dirt, gravel, or demolition waste to and from construction sites. Dump trucks have an open-box bed, hydraulic cylinder and piston, and a hinged tailgate that allows for dumping of materials. The dump bed on the truck lifts to dump its contents. Dump trucks are important because they are the workhorse in construction and many other industries for their ability to haul large amounts of loose materials. They can be used to dump materials in different places or dump while driving to create a seamless covering of materials, like a gravel road. They come equipped with high-grade tires that allow them to withstand debris and sharp objects on the ground. Now let's review some safety concerns and tips to avoid potential hazards or accidents during operation. Yep, operating a dump truck requires proper training and qualifications to ensure safe driving on construction sites and public roads. You always perform a walk-around inspection before operating a dump truck. Never overload the front of the dump bed, and be mindful of the distribution of materials. Yes, a dump truck can tip over with catastrophic results. Always dump on even and firm ground. Safety comes first every time. Let's pause and talk about the walk-around inspection. You always perform a visual inspection before starting up the vehicle. We're viewing the truck in the raised position to detail a few additional parts. We'll start by looking at some of the exterior parts first. Use your thumbstick to rotate the dump truck and click on each highlighted spot. Inspect the cab and windows. Make sure all the windows around the cab are clean and clear. If the cab windows are damaged, inform your supervisor. Inspect the hoist cylinder. Is a hydraulic cylinder and piston properly lubricated and free of debris? Check fluid levels and look for leaks. Make sure all fluids are topped up. If you see puddles of fluid under the truck or dump bed, something is leaking. Leaks must be repaired before moving forward. Inspect the tires. Are the industrial-grade tires properly inflated? Look for any out-of-place wear and tear that could cause a problem. Look at the tailgate and adjustable chains. Be sure tailgate latches are locked and the adjustable chains on either side are secured. A loose tailgate is a disaster waiting to happen. Check the tarpaulin storage and support arms. Ensure the winch-driven tarp and support arms are retracted and properly stored. Driving with the tarp and arms raised halfway would be extremely dangerous. Here's a better look at some interior driving controls. We've modified a few features to make it easier to operate. Click on each hotspot to learn more about each function. Overhead camera. We've also added an overhead camera to help you navigate and line up correctly as you work through the various tasks. Push-button gears. We've implemented easy-to-use push-button gears on the dashboard, so don't worry about the stick shift or pedals. Parking brake or emergency brake is an additional safety mechanism used when the vehicle is parked, preventing accidental movement. Safety belt is required to keep you safe while operating the loader. Pull the seat belt from the left side across your lap and fasten into the buckle on the right side. The belt must be positioned over your lower hips. Key slot. turning the key 2 stops to the right starts the engine. Now, take a closer look at the dashboard-mounted hydraulic controls used to operate the dump bed. PTO light. The red light indicates when the power takeoff or PTO is engaged. The red PTO switch switches power from the truck's drivetrain to the cylinder, piston, and tailgate control. The yellow safety button is used as a safety measure to ensure the power takeoff or PTO isn't engaged in error. This button must be depressed and held before flipping the red PTO switch upwards into the on position. The black dump bed T-handle engages the cylinder and piston. Pushing the handle upwards raises the dump bed. Pulling the handle downward lowers the dump bed. When you move the handle to the middle, it is in neutral. Tailgate control button is used to unlock or lock the safety latches on the tailgate. Pulling up on the knob releases the latches before raising the dump bed. Pushing the knob engages the latches, locking the tailgate at its lowest position. Take a minute to think about the basic interior controls of a dump truck. Drag and drop the corresponding text label to the correct spot. Yes, great job. Yes, great job. You're right. Nicely done. No, please try again. Great answer. That's correct. Yes, that's spot on. Yes, great job. One last thing. I want you to operate the dump truck in a controlled environment before we put you on the active worksite. Click Replay, Home, or Next to continue. You're probably wondering how to drive a dump truck in virtual reality, right? Well, we've made it easy to control the steering, acceleration, and braking without needing pedals or a stick shift by using your controllers. Pull the grip buttons by your middle fingers on each controller to hold onto the steering wheel. Once you've got hold of the steering wheel, use your index finger and pull the trigger button on your right controller to accelerate. And you guessed it, use your index finger to pull the trigger button on your left controller to apply the brakes. Click Replay if you want to look at the driving controls again, or click Next to move on. Buckle up. Pull the seatbelt from the left side across your lap and fasten into the buckle on the right side using the trigger button on your controller. Go ahead and turn the key 2 stops to the right to start the engine using the trigger button on your right controller. I need you to drive to the highlighted fill-up station and wait for the loader. You'll hear a ding-ding sound when the loader is finished, which lets you know you're full and all set to go. Press the D button on the dashboard to put the truck into drive using the grip button on your right controller. Now, use both grip buttons by your middle fingers to hold the steering wheel. Next, pull the trigger button on your right controller to accelerate. Okay, remember to pull the trigger button on the left controller to apply the brakes. That's not the right spot. That's not the right spot. Be sure you're lined up in the highlighted area. Press the P button on the dashboard to put the truck in park using the grip button on your right controller. Wait for the loader to fill up the dump bed. There's the signal, you're good to go. Now, drive into the highlighted area, center of the site, and dump your load in the highlighted area between the pylons. Change gears and put the truck into drive. Press the D button on the dashboard using the grip button on your right controller. Use the grip buttons on both controllers to hold the steering wheel and pull the trigger button on your right controller to accelerate. The trigger button on the left controller applies the brakes. That's not the right spot. Okay, it looks like you're in the highlighted dump zone. Now put the truck in park by pressing the P on the push button gear cluster with the grip button on your right controller. Now, here's where things get fun. You need to switch power from the drivetrain to the dump bed hydraulics, so focus on the PTO controls on the dashboard. First, press the yellow safety button using the grip button on your right controller. Now, flip the red PTO switch up, again use the grip button on the right controller. Good, you've switched the power to the hydraulics. Now you unlock the tailgate control by pulling it up using the grip button on your controller. Finally, raise the dump bed by pushing the tailgate T-handle forward using the grip button on your controller. Keep an eye on the overhead camera to see when the load has fully dumped. Okay, lower the dump bed T-handle using the grip button. Press the tailgate control down to engage the locks using the grip button. Now flip the red PTO switch down to switch the power back to the drivetrain using the grip button on the right controller. The yellow safety button engages automatically when the red PTO switch is in the down position. My. Pretty good for a rookie. Click replay, home, or next to continue. Okay, I know you're ready to start, so let's gear up with the required personal protective equipment or PPE. You'll need a safety vest, hard hat, gloves, safety glasses, and ear protection. Reach forward and tap to equip each PPE item. Yes, you have them all. You're ready to go. You will be transported to the construction site by clicking Continue using the trigger button on your controller. Once you're at the site, I'll provide further instructions. You've got some work to do. We need to conduct the walk-around inspection. You will perform a visual inspection before operating the vehicle. Use your thumbstick to teleport around the dump truck and click on the highlighted areas using the trigger to check each item off the list. Okay, what are you waiting for? Check fluid levels and look for leaks. Yes, perfect. Inspect the tires. Bingo! The tailgate. Yes, that's right. The tarpaulin system. Correct. Inspect the cab and windows. You're on a roll. You're ready to move on. Click Continue using the trigger button on one of the controllers to get started. Okay, let's do this. Your first task is to dump a full load in a single area. The second task is to tailgate a load over in the center of the site to create a makeshift gravel road. Your third and final task is to dump a load in 3 different spots. This isn't going to be easy, so take your time. Click Next. To get started, stop off at the highlighted fill-up area and have that track hoe fill up your dump bed with dirt.